Alrighty, good morning to those in the Philippines. Today we are going to be discussing Philippines, Taiwan, and China, and parts of Hong Kong as well. We are going to be discussing Tropical Storm Fung-wong, which will be soon named Uwan in the Philippines overnight, most likely. I'm going to first share this stream, and then we will get right into it. If you have any questions about this storm or any of the other tropical cyclones across the globe, you can always ask in the chat, and I will answer them in the later part of the stream. Just make sure this is working. It should be. In theory, this should also work. Okay. There we go. South Korea. Hello, I'm first. You are first. Thank you so much for joining in. Alright, now I did want to mention again, thank you all so much for all the support recently. We are now only 153 subscribers away from 5,000, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get into it. So here's a look at the impacts, or the forecast cone over the next 5 days. Where is the system going to go, and what are the impacts looking like across the Philippines? Starting off with the forecast cone, we are expecting it to rapidly intensify to a Category 2, maybe Category 1 over the next... Wait, is that yeah, okay. Over the next 12 hours, so by tonight, it should be a typhoon, potentially reaching Category 2 intensity. And then by tomorrow morning, it should be intensifying to a Category 4 major typhoon. Could be a little bit weaker than that. It all depends on how quickly this thing tries to ramp up. We are expecting a peak here in hour 36 as a Category 5 super typhoon before some slight weakening occurs as it nears the Philippines. Looks like a Category 4 major typhoon landfall is expected in the Philippines around Aurora or Isabela. Then it moves through the CAR and then Ilocos region there as a typhoon, enters the South China Sea as a typhoon, meanders towards the north, and then starts nearing Taiwan as a tropical storm by day 5. Now let's discuss the impacts that the system could bring. So marginal impacts for a majority of the Philippines. This does include portions of northern Mindanao, a majority of eastern Visayas, the entirety of central Visayas, as well as northern portions of the Negros Island region, the entirety of western Visayas, and the northern portions of Mimaropa, including Mindoro, and of course other parts of the Bicol region as well. There is also marginal risk for potentially parts of eastern Hainan Island, as well as the coast of Guangdong and Guangxi provinces of China. I believe that's what that... okay, Guangdong province of China, excuse me. Guangdong and then Fujian provinces of China. And then the entirety of Taiwan is included in that. And then the Sekishima Islands, the western ones, are included in that marginal risk. Also, everywhere else, like I said, the Philippines and then even parts of Yap there are in that marginal category. Stepping it up now to the slight impacts, that does include the island of Yap there, and it does include the Batanes Islands, the eastern coast of... or the eastern half of Taiwan, as well as a majority of the northern Philippines. Nearly the entirety of Luzon does include the western portions of Mindoro in that category, and far northeastern Samar is also in that slight category of impacts. But again, the Bicol region, Calabarzon, as well as central Luzon, Ilocos region, Cagayan Valley, and the CAR, they're all in that slight category or above. Now, stepping it up, looking at the moderate impacts, what areas are expected to see moderate impacts? Well, it does include the eastern portions of Taiwan, mainly due to flash flooding. And then it also includes the Babuan Islands, majority of Luzon there. So it does include the Cagayan Valley, the entirety of the CAR, as well as the entirety of the Ilocos region. And central Luzon, a majority of that is included there. And it does also include parts of Metro Manila, the NCR region of the Philippines. And also parts of the northern Bicol region are also in northern Calabarzon are in that moderate category. There is also an area in western Mindoro that's in that moderate category as well. Now let's step it up to major impacts. What areas are expected to see at least major impacts from the system? Well, it is going to be including a section of Taiwan there. The east coast of Taiwan could be seeing major impacts from the system, again, due to flash flooding. Some areas could be seeing over 500 millimeters of rain over the next 5 days, and this could be upgraded higher beyond the 5-day range. Looking at parts of the Philippines, this does include portions of southern, or not really Cagayan there, but it does include the Cagayan Valley, it does include Isabela, Carino, Aurora there, and Nueva Isaha? Isaha, yeah, I think that's what it is, Isaha, yep, Nueva Vizcaya, as well as Benguet, La Union, as well as portions of Ilocos Sur, Abra, Ilocos Norte, and Apayao, and Kalinga and Mountain Province and Ifugao. All those regions are in the major category of impacts. So you are expected to see major impacts. If it's not from the wind, it's going to be from the rain. Okay, now let's go over to the possibility of catastrophic impacts. Possibility of extreme/catastrophic impacts. We're going to be discussing this now. So the possibility of catastrophic impacts in the form of wind is going to be including parts of the coast of Isabela and Aurora provinces there, and maybe far northern Quezon. Just due to the fact that this could be rolling through as a Category 5 super typhoon. Some of the models, like the HAFS-A model run, are predicting that, but some of the other models, like the Google AI Ensemble member mean, just have its weakening before a landfall. So it's uncertain, so that's why it's highlighted as the possibility. Now, in terms of the rainfall, the possibility of catastrophic impacts does include a corridor of parts of Ilocos Norte, Abra, as well as Ilocos Sur, and Benguets, La Union, and yes, those regions. So that's mainly going to be for the form in the form of rainfall, and we'll discuss that later in the video or later in the live stream. All right, now let's discuss the broad overview of tropics. What's going on besides Fung-wong? Well, we do have Kalmaegi, or just starting now. I guess we start in the Western Pacific. Of course, we have a tropical storm Fung-wong, which is expected to become a super typhoon as it plows into the Philippines. We also have a Kalmaegi here, which is moving inland into parts of Southeastern Asia, moving now into Cambodia, as well as portions of Laos and Thailand there. It is weakening now down to 60 miles an hour. Sustained winds. And we also have an area of interest now in the Southwest Indian Ocean/Australian region here with a 10% chance of tropical development over the next 7 days, mainly the 2 to 5 day range or so. Nothing too bad expected out of that system. Now let's see, where are we going now? Okay, so let's look at the satellite imagery on the storm right now. As I've been seeing a lot of people mentioning in the live chat there, this thing is massive, the size of it right now, and this is helping to prevent it from exploding in intensity. It is still just a tropical storm, but we are going to likely see the system consolidate, so the environment is incredibly favorable for this thing to rapidly intensify. We have perfect outflow here. You can see all these wispy clouds on the northwestern side and the northern side, southern side, just perfect outflow all around the system, so really just allowing for it to blossom. Alright, now looking at infrared imagery, we can't really see much of an eye wall trying to form at all. It doesn't really have much of a core yet, and it should try to consolidate more over the next 24 hours. The longer it stalls in doing this, the longer or the less likely it is going to become a super typhoon. Now let's discuss the sea surface temperatures the storm is in right now. Sea surface temperatures, let me refresh this. This should be, okay, yeah, around 29 to 30 degrees Celsius. In some pockets will be up to 31 degrees Celsius as it nears the Philippines. Looking at the environment for the system, shear is going to be incredibly low these next 24 hours or so, before it then starts to spike dramatically there into the moderate, nearly high category. By the time it starts nearing the Philippines. Sea surface temperatures are not going to be a problem at all up until the Philippines, but they could start being a little bit of an issue after it enters the South China Sea. Dry air is not going to really be a problem at all. The system, if it has a core, it's not going to really entrain any of that dry air. But after it hits the Philippines, in this portion right here, that's when it could become a problem, and the core gets shredded, and it could be starting to suck in some of that dry air. Now let's discuss the distances the storm is from certain areas. Okay, here's a look at the latest Joint Typhoon Warning Center forecast. I think this oh, never mind. Okay, this isn't just recent, but let's discuss it now. So, distance is around 230 kilometers away from Yap. From eastern Visayas, it's around 1,300 kilometers away. The Bicol region, mainly the Catanduanes, are around 1,400 kilometers away, and Calabarzon are also around 1,600 kilometers away. Looking at Aurora there in the Philippines, in the central Luzon, it's around 1,700 kilometers away, and looking at Isabela in the Cagayan Valleys, around 1,700 kilometers away. Looking at the CAR, they're around 1,800 kilometers away, and the Ilocos region's now 1,900 kilometers away. Metro Manila is down to 1,800 kilometers, and looking at portions of Taiwan, they are now down to 2,100 kilometers away. If we look at Mindoro, it's around 1,750 kilometers away, and looking at Masbate, looks like around 1,500 kilometers away. So the system is getting closer, but man, look at that there. How much it's been blossoming. And let's see the size difference from before and now. Yep, just still massive. Right. Now let's look at the hurricane models on what they're showing the system will do. So starting off with the HWRF model run here. See, it does still remain a broad system, but it does consolidate dramatically over the next 24 hours. It does become a Category 5 super typhoon. It looks like it slams into the Philippines there. This would be around Aurora there as a Category 5 super typhoon. It does then core areas of Kalinga and Mountain Province before then coring Ilocos Sur, then entering the South China Sea still as a pretty broad tropical cyclone, though. Still not a major typhoon anymore, but it is still a typhoon there meandering around the South China Sea. Moves pretty slowly at that time. Now, I do want to look at the HAFS A model run and what is for... Oh boy, that's a little bit close for comfort for Hong Kong. But anyways, the forecast there consolidates pretty quickly over the next 24 hours, but then it really starts to rapidly intensify. But likely a super typhoon landfall around the border of Aurora and Isabela provinces in the Philippines. So either the Cagayan Valley or central Luzon gets a direct hit from the system. It does then core areas like Ifugao and then Benguets and La Union and Ilocos Sur before entering the South China Sea as a broader tropical cyclone. But it does start nearing portions of Hong Kong there by the 5-day range, delivering some gale force winds, maybe even storm force winds. Looking at potential gusts, maybe some typhoon force gust could be happening in portions of Hong Kong with the system. Again, that's why they're highlighted for marginal impacts over the next 5 days, as we're not quite sure where the system will go. Is it going to be making that northeastern turn, or is it going to be continuing off towards the west-northwest, or north-northwest? Alright, now looking at the, let's see, we can discuss the other model runs and what they're showing. So European run slams into the Philippines there. Looks like it makes landfall around southern Aurora as a major typhoon and then enters the South China Sea and starts nearing Fujian and Fujian province of China and western Taiwan there as a pretty powerful typhoon. Doesn't weaken it a whole lot, and it looks like it re-intensifies some. Yeah, the European run wants it to re-intensify when it enters the South China Sea. Looking at the American run and what it is showing the system will intensify quite dramatically. I think it's initializing poorly right now. And it does have another system impacting the Philippines over the next 7 to 10 days. I'm not quite sure if that thing's going to do anything. Let me look at Ensembles on here. I haven't seen the European AI model show anything. Maybe I'll mark this by tomorrow as a 10% or 10 to 20% chance of formation. But as of right now, though, not really. I don't think that this is going to happen just yet. Now the system does roll very close to portions of Hong Kong there before fortunately falling apart there, but a lot of rain stalls in portions of Guangdong province. Then we have that next system rolling through into the South China Sea potentially. So now looking at the Canadian model run and what it is showing the system becoming a typhoon there. Of course, major typhoon slams into Cagayan. It's on the northern end of guidance, and it does slam into southern Taiwan. Let's pull up the latest German run here. Let's go a little bit earlier than that here. Category 5 super typhoon making landfall in this model run in Cagayan there, and then it moves through the Babuan Islands and Batanes Islands before skimming the eastern portions of Taiwan there, then becoming a post-tropical cyclone by the Ryukyu Islands. So looking at the ensemble members here from the European ensembles, it looks like the center of a landfall there is set on around Aurora, central Aurora province there. We can see some areas and portions of Hong Kong and eastern Guangdong and western Fujian provinces could be seeing a landfall from the system. So probabilities of tropical storm force winds, I'm not quite sure how well this thing actually works. This may be tropical storm force gust, possibly. I'm not quite sure how this works. Just because it's over a much larger area than what it should be, I think. But yeah, typhoon force winds. This is much more reasonable there. Typhoon force winds. The probabilities of what areas could be seeing typhoon force winds at least. I do want to pull up the European AI model. Let's see if I have something else up here for it. Yeah, okay. I want to take a look at the trends now. How has it been trending? Has it been trending weaker, stronger? That kind of stuff. Let's start off by looking at the 500 millibar height anomaly right about now. What is it looking like? Has it uptrended? Has it downtrended? Looks like over the previous runs, it's trended a little bit more to the east and a little bit stronger. Now, in terms of Kalmaegi there off towards the west and portions of Laos, it has sped up a bit. It's near a little bit more to the southwest. In terms of that ridge over China, it does seem like it's strengthened a little bit there. As you can see, it's a little bit stronger. That trough to the north there is trending weaker there, so this ridge to the north is a little bit stronger. It's preventing it from escaping off towards the north. Let's go 24 hours from now. Let's see what have the trends been. Okay, so the trend is not our friend on this one here because parts of China, that ridge does strengthen there. You can see, on the earlier model runs, or earlier Ensemble runs. Let me make sure that, yep, that's correct here. If we go back to yesterday's, though, the ridge was not as strong there. Now it's increased there. You see more of these red colorings. And also the ridge for portions of, to the northeastern side of the system, does look like it seems like it stayed about the same or so over the last 24 hours. Anyways, going further than that, when it's nearing the Philippines here, the ridge there to the near China there is strengthening now. You can see the most recent run compared to the last 4 or so, last 4 to 8 of them, has strengthened a bit. The ridge to the northeast has also strengthened, and it looks like the system has trended a little bit more to the southwest, just slightly. Now, going beyond that, at its landfall there, or let's go just after landfall. How has it been trending now? Let's see, the ridge looks like it's a little bit, okay, it stays the same north of Taiwan there. Let's see, the ridge southeast of, okay, anyway, it looks like the system has trended more to the west now after it enters the South China Sea. And going on to day 4, what's been happening? Okay, so it looks like the ridge to the northeast of the system around the East China Sea does weaken. So here was the earlier runs. This was around, see, make sure, yeah, this was 24 hours ago, and then this is now. So you can see this ridge has decreased in strength. Anything else to note? Let's see here. Not really noticing any trends as to where the system might be, but if we go down to the 5-day range here, and we go back over the last 24 hours, the ridge there to the northeast has been weakening on this model run. So it tries to take it a little bit more to the north. And then beyond that, not really seeing a whole lot. Let's see, and we can see the next potential system that may be nearing the Philippines there. I think it's this one, yeah, okay, this little tropical wave looks like right over here that could be nearing the southern Philippines, then eventually on towards the, into the South China Sea there, and into portions near southern Vietnam. Curious if that system might develop there. Okay, yeah, so need to be watching this area of vorticity right over here. So this next tropical wave just behind the system, so it looks like it's around right here. Yep, so this next wave also could be impacting some portions of the Philippines and then eventually into the South China Sea over the next 10 days or so. Alright, now let's talk rainfall totals. How much rain could you be seeing from the system according to various model runs? Let's start off by looking at the European model run over the next 7 days or so. Alright, so in terms of millimeters here, portions of Yap could be seeing up to 75 millimeters of rain. Portions of the Philippines here, wherever it makes landfall there and around the surrounding areas really, in portions of northern Luzon, could see up to 500 millimeters rain, 400 to 500 millimeters. And looking more north here to portions of eastern Taiwan, it looks like those totals are up to 300 millimeters of rain just on the European run. Some areas out to sea in the South China Sea could be seeing up to 600 millimeters of rain. Now looking at the American run, on where the system might go. Again, the heaviest rainfall looks like it's around Benguet and Nueva Vizcaya, around those regions, up to 400 millimeters of rain being forecasted there. Looking at portions of eastern Taiwan, up to 150 millimeters of rain, not a whole lot there. But you can see portions of southeastern Guangdong province of China, up to 100 millimeters of rain there. Now looking at the German run here, this is probably the most bullish run in terms of rainfall totals. It does move more, it's more on the north of trends right now. It's more on the north of all the models. So this may be shifted more to the south. In terms of the heaviest rainfall totals, though, there is a portion here in parts of Isabela and Cagayan, the border there, up to 700 millimeters of rain. Portions of the northwestern Philippines there, northwestern Luzon, around the Ilocos Norte and Cagayan border there, up to 800 millimeters of rain. Looking a little bit more to the south and portions of Ilocos Sur, up to 800 millimeters rain possible for you all there as well. Looking at the Babuin Islands, up to 400 millimeters of rain. The Batanes Islands, same up to 300 millimeters of rain. And in portions of eastern Taiwan, could see up to 700 millimeters. 6 to 700 millimeters of rain are going to be possible for eastern Taiwan. Okay, now looking at the Google AI Ensemble mean here over the next few days, it does have the system being a Category 5 at 2 separate occasions there, before slamming in the Philippines as a Category 3 or 4 major typhoon, and then curves off towards the northeast towards Taiwan. Anyways, now let's answer some questions. Alright. So yeah, Fung-wong is now a severe tropical storm. Let's pull up the latest Pagasa forecast and what they are showing the system will do. Okay, are there any signal warnings in effect? I don't think so. Here, I'm just going to open up Pagasa on another page. Is it Tropical Cyclone Advisory or Tropical Cyclone Bulletin? I think it's Bulletin. Yeah, but I'm not seeing any. Oh, because it's not in the area of responsibility yet. Okay. So is it Tropical Cyclone Advisory then? Yes. Alright, I see it. Yeah, so it is now a severe tropical storm, and let's pull up the forecast from Pagasa, their latest forecast cone. Just trying to pull it up. And then we also have a rainfall advisory in effect now for portions of the eastern Philippines. So let's start off by pulling up the Pagasa forecast. It does have it becoming a typhoon by this evening, by this afternoon to evening hours. It does enter the Philippine area of responsibility on 2 a.m. on Saturday, so very early on Saturdays when it's going to be entering the Philippine area of responsibility. Then on Saturday afternoon, it's still a typhoon. By Sunday morning, it is going to be a super typhoon early. So overnight Saturday into Sunday is when it's going to become a super typhoon. Still a super typhoon on Sunday afternoon, and still a super typhoon by the time it makes landfall overnight Sunday into Monday morning. Curious, how strong do they think it's going to get? Okay, they think these 2 points here are going to be the peak intensity of the system. Wow, okay. Again, though, just incredibly powerful system there rolling through the Philippines. This is the bare minimum super typhoon, and this is a little bit stronger. 195 kilometer-an-hour sustained winds being forecasted there at those specific points. Then it weakens down to a typhoon. It weakens rather quickly into a typhoon, and then pretty weak typhoon as it enters the south or exits the Philippine area of responsibility. Alright, and now looking at the rainfall advisory that they've issued for portions of the Philippines, I'll pull that up. Alright, so Isabella is in that 100 to 200 millimeters rain. This is for Sunday, by the way. So Isabella, Aurora, Quezon, Camarines Norte, Camarines Sur, Canoandas are going to be in 100 to 200 millimeters rain. And portions of Samar, Masbate, Rizal, Bulacan, all these regions pretty much in the CAR, Western Cagayan Valley, even the Batanes Islands and Babuin Islands, 50 to 100 millimeters of rain happening on Sunday. So again, you want to get those preparations completed before Sunday, is what I would recommend. Now let's discuss those impacts and what you should be doing at this time. So let's zoom out. Let's take a zoomed out look at the storm and seeing when will impacts be beginning for portions of the Philippines. Looks like as early as this would be 48 hours from now. So now we're down to another category here. Let's discuss the preparedness checklist. You can take a screenshot of this if you'd like. Also, I did want to say, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We are getting very close to 5,000. So yeah, subscribing really helps out a lot. So let's start off with the checklist. What you should have already done, or should be doing at this time, should have done this yellow section right in here. So check forecast daily. If you're subscribed to the channel, you can check that off automatically there. You're good. You're checking back forecast daily. In terms of restocking essentials, you should have already restocked food, water, paper towels, batteries, and medications up to a week supply, a week supply is what I'd recommend. If you haven't done that already, do that now, okay? Get it done today. And remove loose debris from your yard. And also now, you will also need to be completing this. You should have already finished this. You should have washed clothes and dishes, back up important documents, and clean gutters and storm drains. Get a head start of this before the system starts pouring down rain. Now, what you should be doing right now, because you're 48 hours away from impacts potentially beginning, you want to be charging all your devices, laptops, phones, portable chargers, all that things, power banks, any device you should be charging right now. Get to full battery. You want to be moving your valuables to higher ground, especially if you're in anywhere of this orange color or higher, because you could be seeing some pretty hefty rainfall totals from the system, especially in that area of possibility of catastrophic impacts. Move those valuables to higher ground. So going back to this. Oh, and I did want to mention, though, if you haven't already, you need to be preparing as to where you're going to be going. If the system is going to be rolling towards your area as a super typhoon, what's the sturdiest structure you could go to stay safe? Because remember, this has the potential to be a super typhoon at landfall in the Philippines. Pagasa is forecasting a super typhoon landfall. Normal structures are just not going to cut it for wherever that landfall location may be. So you need to know, where are you going to go? Who has the sturdiest structure? Talk to family and friends and trying to figure out where they're going to be going. Who has the sturdiest structure? Who is not in a flood-prone area? If you're in a flood-prone area, be prepared to leave and figure out where you're going to go. Is there a shelter around your area? All of those kind of things. Now, since you're in this 48-hour category, this red section right here, you want to begin securing outdoor items, okay? You want to be pretty much anything like chairs, outdoor furniture, that kind of stuff, things that can be blown away by the typhoon. You want to be securing that kind of stuff. Now, what you also want to be doing is you should already begin getting ready to move towards another location, as in, like, if you're going to be hanging out with family, friends, whoever has the sturdiest structure, you should be getting ready to go there. Probably by tomorrow is what I would be recommending. What you're going to be want to doing, though, if you have the sturdiest structure, if you are in a sturdy structure and you're not in a flood-prone area and you're not being told to evacuate, what you should be doing is you should be preparing a safe room, a room that you're going to be sleeping in. You're going to have supplies and bedding there. That's where you're going to be rolling, or let's see, what was I going to say? Going through the storm. So as it's rolling through your areas of potential super typhoon, you're going to be in that safe room throughout the duration of it. So make sure it's in the most interior room in your structure there, away from doors and windows. And then by tomorrow, what you're going to be wanting to do is bringing in all loose outdoor objects and boarding up and reinforcing windows and doors. You may be wanting to do that now. But yes, that is something that I'd be recommending, especially if you're in anywhere of this section of the Philippines right over here. You should definitely be starting to board up windows and things like that. I've been hearing that a lot of people in the Philippines have already been doing so. That is really good news to hear that they're taking it seriously. If you haven't already, you should be doing that. Again, this could be rolling through your area as a super typhoon. Alright, so yes, that's a look at the preparedness checklist. So again, those in the Philippines are currently in this section right now. So Philippines, PH. Now I did want to discuss, though, now, because portions of Taiwan are now going to be in that 3-day range now, or a 5-day range, excuse me. Looks like potentially even the 3-day range for portions of Taiwan. Now this forecast is awfully more to the west, which is pretty interesting to see. Why is it forecasting that? I'm not quite sure. Did want to mention, though, again, that looks like these next 2 days may be quite dry for portions of the Philippines. You're not going to even notice that a typhoon's headed your direction until it's already too late. Now, after it impacts the Philippines, it is going to be trying to suck in some dry air. It might fight it off. It's a little bit uncertain as to what it's going to be looking like afterwards. But, okay, so impacts in portions of Hong Kong, China there, all within the next 5 days. Taiwan. So if you are in the Philippines, Hong Kong, Taiwan, or sorry, no, not Philippines. If you're in Taiwan, Hong Kong, and China, you're going to be in this section right now. So what you're going to be wanting to do, again, check forecast daily. If you're subscribed to the channel, you can already check that off. Restock essentials. I just get that stuff prepared, as this could be rolling through your area within the next 5 days, potentially delivering impacts within the next 3 days. And you want to review evacuation zones and figure out where you're going to be going, especially if you're in a flood-prone area in eastern Taiwan. And you'll want to just remove loose debris in your yard. Okay, now let's answer some more questions. I see Fung-wong was moving west in satellite imagery. Let's pull that up again. What the heck? Okay, there we go. Moving more to the west. Let's pull up the Joint Typhoon Warning Center forecast. Yep. Seeing what it's been doing. I think it's been moving west northwestwards. Now it's following the Joint Typhoon Warning Center forecast cone. Pretty solidly there in the center of the forecast, looks like. Its cloud band is 1,700 kilometers across. Let's pull that up. How large is this system? Yeah, really up to 1,700 kilometers across. Depending on if you're going to include that outflow there or not. So yeah, 1,700 kilometers. This thing is massive. It's larger than the Philippines. So yeah, that's why even portions of the southern Philippines, including Mindanao, could be seeing impacts from the system in the form of the outer rain bands. Let's see. Oh, and I did want to mention, if you have any questions about your local area, you can always ask in the chat. I'll turn on the this card right over here. Let's see. Is that it? Yeah, okay, that should work. All right. Could the Bicol region experience stormy caused by Typhoon Uwan? Yes, the Bicol region could be seeing. Let me pull up the forecast again. The Bicol region is expected to see anywhere from marginal impacts to moderate impacts. So that some areas in the slight impact category, mainly the Camarines Sur area, but in portions of northeastern Camarines Sur and the Canawandas are expected to see moderate impacts from the system. In northern Camarines Norte, again, moderate impacts expected for you. If this shifts to the south, though, you could be seeing major to catastrophic impacts. But right now, you are expected to see anywhere from marginal to moderate impacts. Let's see, what else here? Yes, I saw Josh Morganman is now arriving to the Philippines to chase the storm. JMA upgrades it almost a typhoon with maximum sustained winds of 110 kilometers an hour and gustiness of 130 kilometers an hour. Thank you for the information. Is Fung-wong strengthening? Yes, it is. It is gradually intensifying now. Winds are likely up to 60 miles an hour at this point. It's taking its time, just because it's such a broad system, as you see here. So it's not really consolidating a whole lot. This is probably going to take another 24 hours or so before it really starts ramping up. The longer it takes, the better it is for the Philippines. It looks like it's trended more south, not good. Let's pull up the latest model trends on this system. Oh, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We're trying to reach, 4.85 thousand subscribers. Thank you all so much for the support. We are now down to 150 away from 5,000 subscribers, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. It helps keep you up to date. Oh, dang. All right, never mind. It's now up to winds of 70 miles an hour right now, so it's nearly a typhoon. Yeah, so, okay. Man, so, okay, my forecast yesterday is very close to verifying, looks like. Meaning it's not really, okay. It's a little bit ahead of schedule now, according to the latest Joint Typhoon Warning Center forecast. It's over here now with winds of 70 miles an hour already, and it was forecasted to only reach that by the time it got here. I think it's winds around 60 to 65 miles an hour. I don't think it's around 70 just yet. But yeah, let's take a look at the various model trends. Since I've been hearing people say, oh, is it trending north? Is it trending south? Let's look at the Joint Typhoon Warning Center forecast here in terms of where they've had it going. Let's do, oh, can I do, yeah, oops, no, wrong thing. Not mean to try and save that. There we go, okay. Let's see, open image and new tab there. So, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center forecast has been pretty consistent over the last day or so, but it has gone a little bit more to the north in the near term, and then a little bit to the south or in parts of the central guidance over the late term there. And it does curve more to the north at the end of that 5-day point. In terms of intensity forecast, that intensity peak, oops, I forgot to do this. Dang it. All right, anyways. The forecasted peak, though, is no longer showing a Category 4, at least on the Joint Typhoon Warning Center run. And they do have it's been moving more slowly. It's not intensified as quickly as we initially thought, just because it's such a broad Um, such a broad tropical cyclone. Let's go back to the other model trends here. Now, let's start off by looking at the GEFS Ensemble here. Let's look at the latest 5 days here. Where has it been trending over the last five, or not 5 days, 5 cycles? So this would be around then the last 2 days or so. The GEFS Ensemble mean has shifted more to the south. So it has shifted from a landfall in around Isabella now to a landfall in central Aurora, looks like. So it has been shifting more and more to the south on these most recent runs, and that's because the system's been moving more to the southwest compared to forecast. In terms of intensity, not really much has changed. And now if we look at the European ensembles and what they have been showing, okay, yep. It's also trended more to the south here. Instead of it missing the Philippines, it's now showing it making landfall there, of course, in portions of Aurora there. Looks like both of these are pretty much set on the same location, pretty much, yeah. But the European ensembles does have it hooking towards Taiwan. Moving more to the west, though, looks like. So it's definitely trending more to the southwest. That's because the system's been more to the southwest compared to previous forecast. Now take a look at the Canadian ensembles. What has happened with this one? This isn't the most reliable one, but it has trended a little bit more to the north compared to the last few runs, having it making landfall around at Cagayan. Now looking at the UK, now the UK Mets I'm not going to trust. The German ensembles has trended a little bit more to the south compared to the last few runs. The most recent ensembles are the strongest now. And it does have it making landfall in around Isabella and Cagayan border. Looking at the AIFS, the ensembles, if we open this up, here it does have it making landfall a little bit more to the south. It's trended more to the south, and it does have it making landfall in around Aurora. They're either northern Aurora or southern Isabella. Then the Eagle ensembles, what does this show? This is a little bit more to the south. This has it making landfall in southern or central Aurora. Now let's pull up the deterministic model runs. What have they been showing? Let's start off by looking at the GFS, the American run here. More to the southwest, it does have it making landfall. Looks to be around Aurora there. Aurora or Isabella. In terms of intensity, stayed about the same. If we look at the European run, it's trended even stronger now in the most recent run. And if we open it up on here, where does it look like it's going? More to the south compared to the previous forecast. Does have it making landfall in Aurora there, mainly around central Aurora. But again, has been trending more and more to the south there, creeping closer and closer to Metro Manila, for example. Looking at the previous Canadian runs, this one has crept away from Manila. It's more on the northern end of guidance. Does have it now making landfall in around Cagayan there. Clips the Babuan Islands just to the south there. Makes landfall in Taiwan. Then let's take a look at the German runs. Yes, here we go. The German model runs do have it making landfall in around Isabella or Cagayan, around the border of those two. Now let's take a look at the higher resolution hurricane models. This is a look at the HWRF model run, one of the high resolution models. Stayed pretty consistent over the last few runs. It's still in the center, does have it making landfall in Isabella before rolling through then Mountain Province, Kalinga, Abra, and Ilocos Sur, Ifugao, all those regions as a major typhoon. In terms of intensity, not much has changed there. Half-Say model run has trended a little bit weaker, fortunately, but it has trended more to the south. This was the model run that was the northernmost out of all of them. As you can see, making landfall almost as far north as you can in Cagayan, around Santa Ana. But it has trended more and more to the south. Look at it. It's moved more to the southwest recently, and that's pushed it more and more to the south. The ridge near Taiwan's a little bit stronger, near Taiwan and China. So that's pushing it more and more to the south. So, we're not quite sure as to how much further is this going to go down to the south. Is it going to go more down in this region, or is it going to be trending back up? But this would be a little bit more concerning for areas like Metro Manila, anywhere in central Luzon, those areas, and Calabarzon in the Bicol region. Okay, so yes, that's a look at the latest model trends, at least on there. Now let's pull up the DeepMind Google AI members. Let's open this up here. What have they been showing? Pretty consistent. It's locked in on a landfall somewhere around Aurora. there, and it does have it hooking off towards Taiwan and then the Ryukyu Islands of Japan. Intensity has not really changed much. Oops. All right. Oops. And then let me just let one of my friends know. So again, it has been trending a little bit. It's locked in. Okay, so if I pull this up again, it's locked in a landfall happening around. Looks to be around Aurora there, and it does have it moving through Quirino, those regions in the Philippines, mainly the Cagayan Valley. Let me just share the stream with someone. There we go. Okay. So yes, it does have it moving through regions of the Philippines there around central Luzon, the Cagayan Valley, the CAR, and the Ilocos region there. This has been the most locked in model run out of all of them, having it consistently making landfall somewhere in around northern Aurora or southern Isabela. Now let's discuss the probabilities of a landfall. Where could it be making landfall at? So the Google AI Ensemble members here, if we're looking at portions of, let's see, the Catawandas, or yes, that's where that is, in the Bicol region. Let's go even more south there. The Camarine Sewer, it's around a 2% chance of it making landfall there. Okay, and portions of Catawanas Island there, around a 4% chance it makes landfall there. Now let's discuss where could it actually be making landfall. The center of it's here. In terms of models here, I'm trying to get this to add to 100%. So there's a 2% chance it makes landfall. Looks like in Quezon. And yeah, that is Quezon. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Plus the ensemble mean, then 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. That would be around a 70% chance now that it makes landfall in Aurora. That's gone up recently. So 70% there and a 2% down there. So then the rest of it there should be around a, let's see, so 70% chance there, 2% down there, and this would be around a 28% chance that it makes landfall in Isabela. No Ensemble members have it making landfall in Cagayan. Interesting there. Now, in terms of how close could it get to Metro Manila, well, one of these Ensemble members does roll through as a pretty powerful typhoon, major typhoon just to the north of Manila, but none of them have it going directly over Metro Manila. Still, that doesn't mean that they aren't going to be seeing impacts. Okay, now let's answer some more questions. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to catch up. Oh man, I'm a bit behind. Do you think, let's see, Fung-wong will beat Ompong in 2018 or main cuts? In intensity, I think it is possible it could be making a landfall stronger. The only problem with the system is it's so large that it's quite hard for it to wrap up a core. It has enough time, I think. Shear's going to be low over the next 24 hours or so it can really blossom. The problem, though, is shear's going to be increasing by the time it starts entering the Philippine Area of Responsibility, and around this section of the Philippine Sea. So the thing is, how well is that core put together? Just seeing, because shear's going to disrupt it a whole lot more if it's not fully solid. So if it is solid, though, it still has a chance to continue intensifying all the way up until landfall in the Philippines, similar to main cuts or Ompong. So yeah, the storm could beat that system. Let's see what else here. Looks like, yeah, trend more to the south. I don't get why Fung-wong, after it exits the Philippine Area of Responsibility, it will come back again and goes towards Taiwan. I don't know why it does that. I'm not quite sure why either. I've been looking at the model runs here. I need someone else to explain that to me. I'll take another look, though. See if I can spot it. Why is it going more to the north? I guess it's just because even though this is a little bit stronger, this is average anomalies there. So it looks like a trough. Yeah, okay, so there is kind of a little bit of a trough here. I'll pull up, okay. Yeah, I'm looking at probably the wrong thing. So there's going to be a trough over here that's going to be trying to drag it off towards the northeast is what it looks like. A trough over China there. Yeah, that tries to then drag it off towards the northeast, and then eventually it speeds off towards Alaska, looks like. I'm not quite sure if this is going to be another low pressure area that forms, or if it's going to be still the remnants of Fung-wong. Yes, if it moves more to the south, this will be pretty bad for Metro Manila. Currently, I'm expecting moderate impacts there, but they could be seeing major impacts. I think the Bicol region will be experiencing tropical storm force winds. Yeah, they could be experiencing that, maybe even more. Especially if it stays in this forecast cone, they could be seeing typhoon force winds from this. That's why they are highlighted in the category moderate impacts. But it's not just going to be the wind; it's also going to be the rain. All right, what else? Yes, forecasters are saying Category 3 on northern Philippines, maybe even Category 4. Yeah, this time I'd be forecasting around the border of Category 3 or 4, but I'm not going to exclude the possibility that this does make landfall as a Category 5. Some of these model runs, like the half-say model run, is forecasting it to continue intensifying all the way up until landfall. So, really, it's what model would you rather believe? Are you going to be believing the half-say model run, or are you going to be believing the Google AI members? The Google AI members have not done a great job in the near term. The half-say model run has done better, in my opinion. Let's see. What is the highest signal in Laguna? In there, the impacts that you could be getting, the signal warning. Okay, I'm just trying to pull it up. I'd say up to Signal 4 warnings could be possible for you there if it trends more on the southern end of guidance. But I'd be expecting Signal probably 1 to 3. Again, this is all determining on what Pagasa thinks. Let's see. Nueva Ishaya. Okay. Isaha. Yeah, Nueva Isaha. Yeah, in terms of impacts there, you are expected to see, looks like moderate impacts to major impacts, depending on how north you are in that province. How much rainfall in Cagayan? In terms of impacts there, Cagayan is expected to see anywhere from, looks like moderate to major impacts, but rainfall could be quite high. Some models like the German run, showing up to 700 millimeters in some spots. It really all depends more likely in those more mountainous areas of the province. Very well explained. Good work. Thank you so much. And be sure to consider subscribing if you haven't already. We are now 8 subscribers away from 4.86 thousand subscribers. So, again, it helps keep you up to date, helps me get it out to more people. And please be sure to like the stream if you haven't already. Is there now a tropical disturbance near Australia? Yes. Only around a 10% chance of tropical development, though. So, nothing really to be concerned about just yet. Don't really think it's going to do much. It does have a very slim chance of it actually developing. A 90% chance, though, that it doesn't develop. How much rainfall in Manila? Let's discuss that here. So, Metro Manila, at least on the German run, only 20 millimeters of rain. Not bad at all. The American run's up to 90 millimeters of rain, and the European's up to 120. So again, a lot of these model runs are showing now higher totals of rainfall happening in portions of Manila, mainly due to that southern trend. So they could be seeing moderate impacts in the form of rainfall. How strong will the impacts be in Nueva Vizcaya? In terms of impacts there, Nueva Vizcaya is expected to see major impacts from the system. If it's not going to be from the wind, it's going to be from the rain for you. Is that an eye? Not quite. It's going to be trying to develop a core over the next 24 hours or so, and we'll start to see an eye potentially pop out over the next 48 to 72 hours. So here, if the track does move more centered to Metro Manila, will it give catastrophic impacts? In terms of Metro Manila, I'm not really expecting catastrophic impacts. The rainfall potential for possibility of catastrophic impacts is mainly for the CAR and Ilocos region. of the Philippines, and the catastrophic impacts are possible in portions of the central Luzon and Cagayan Valley, not really the NCR. And that'd be limited to the coast, where it makes landfall potentially as a super typhoon. In terms of Metro Manila, they'd probably see max major impacts from this. Let's see. I don't know the Google AI models showing it as 145 knots. It's quite concerning. Let's see if the most recent model run is out, and then we can talk about the peak percentages. What are they showing? Let's hope this is downtrended. Let's hope the new run is out. We'll tell you all the percentages. Okay. Yes, it is out. Let's discuss the percentages of it. Oh, no. Okay, it's up again, I think. Is that right? This may be an old run. No, it's not an old run. Oh, man. Okay. Okay, it's now back up to a 96% chance that this peaks out as a Category 5. The lowest end is going to be 125 knots. So again, 96% chance that this becomes a Category 5, at least on the Google AI Ensemble members. So what it's going to be peaking out as. The minimum is going to be 145 miles an hour, just below Super Typhoon's intensity. That's the minimum. This is a mid-range Category 4. The bottom 25% does have it peaking out as 175 mile an hour Category 5. Okay, so not just a low-end Super Typhoon. The mean there, the average of the peaks, are going to be around 180 miles an hour is going to be the average of this system's peak, though. So 180 miles an hour is now being the forecasted average. In terms of the top 25%, that is going to be, let's see, that would be 195 miles an hour. So there's around a 25% chance or so that it reaches 195 miles an hour. And then the highest Ensemble member there is around 185 knots. That's around 215 miles an hour is going to be the maximum intensity that the system could reach, according to the Google AI members. So again, yeah, this could beat Ompong or Mangkut's in terms of the strongest tropical cyclone in Luzon there. Could beat Haiyan or Yolanda in terms of just how strong will this system peak out as. We can compare this to the previous run, okay? How about let's do that? Let's compare it, okay? Just trying to see, is this going to be worse than Haiyan in terms of its winds? In terms of the previous run, let's discuss what the previous run showed. Alright, so the last run showed around a 43% chance of it becoming a Category 5. So let's do this here, C5. And we've seen that's gone up now to 96%. Or sorry, not 43%, my bad. Whoops, let me redo that again. Not 43%, I meant to do 86% chance that becomes a Category 5. Now that has gone up to a 96% chance, at least on this run. And now let's pull up here, let's do 12Z and then 18Z. These are the model runs, okay, the Ensemble clusters. So now let's go over to the minimum intensity. The minimum intensity of the system has now gone from 130 mile an hour, Category 4, low-end Category 4, now up to 145 miles an hour, Category 4. That's the minimum intensity out of all 50 Ensemble members. Now looking at the bottom 25% here, that has gone from around 165 miles an hour, now up to 175 miles an hour. So that has uptrended in its expected peak 25%, bottom 25%. In terms of the average now, the average peak intensity has gone from 180 miles an hour to, I believe, has it stayed the same? Let me just double check. Yeah, okay, it's gone up slightly, but in terms of rounding, it's 180 miles an hour still. So still the average intensity is expected to peak out with winds of 180 miles an hour. So that's the same as Mangkut's or Ompong. Opong. Or sorry, I don't remember. Now looking at the top there, the 75% now. The earlier run was showing 160 knots, so around 185 miles an hour. And again, that has now increased to around, if I pull this up, 160 5 knots, that would be 190 miles an hour being forecasted now. And then the top, the maximum intensity being forecasted, has gone from around 180 knots, so that would be 205 miles an hour, now up to 215 miles an hour. So both of those would be beating high on in intensity, or tying or beating high on. Again, thank you all so much for tuning into the live stream. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It helps me get out the word to more people, and it helps keep you up to date. And be sure to like the stream if you haven't already. But yes, maximum intensity, all of these pretty much are increasing except for the average. The average remains the same right now. Now, how about let's discuss pressure, the peak pressure that the system could reach. Alright, oops, I don't know if I changed this. Oh no, I didn't, whoops, okay, let me fix this now. I'm running code on my laptop here, so that way we can see what are these Ensemble members thinking its peak intensity is going to be. Let me pull up this. There's so for this day. Today's model run, and then, whoops, okay, let's do that. Yep, download the file, there we go. Okay, so the probability it reaches a peak of below 940 millibars, 100% chance for that. Below 920 millibars, that's probability is a 96% chance that it reaches a pressure at or below. 900 millibars, is it going to be becoming a sub 900 millibar super typhoon? 44% chance it does that, according to the Google AI Ensemble members. Looking at the probabilities of it reaching below 890 millibars, that is going to be around a 14% chance. And then the probabilities of it reaching below 880 millibars is going to be 4% chance of it doing that. 2 of those Ensemble members are showing that. Now, in terms of the peak pressure, the highest pressure is 926 millibars. The lowest is 870.9 millibars. 870.9 millibars is going to be the minimum pressure out of all those 50 Ensemble members, and that would be potentially tying Typhoon Tip's record there. So that's this ceiling the system has. That's why it could be catastrophic as it makes landfall there, if it reaches that ceiling though. Again, there's also the maximum pressure though, which is still around the Category 4, Category 5 range. But again, the ceiling is incredibly high with this system. It all depends on how quickly it can start developing a core. So yeah, to the question about how strong it could get, again, it could get incredibly strong. Kazon, okay. Oh, Kezon. Thank you for letting me know that, Kezon. Is the system undergoing rapid intensification? Not yet. Right now it's undergoing steady intensification. It's gone from 70 miles an hour now. It's gone from 40 to 70, so that's a 30 mile an hour increase. Actually, yeah, it's nearly undergone rapid intensification, according to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. So it's already intensifying nearly rapidly, and it's expected to intensify, let's see, if we go from 1 p.m. there to 1 p.m. the next day, it is expected to undergo rapid intensification over the next 18 hours or so, according to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. So it looks like it could already be undergoing rapid intensification. Luzon Signal 5, I don't expect that at all. Yeah, the diameter of this storm is so large so that even if you don't get direct impacts, you'll also be feeling strong wind and heavy rainfall. Great points. Again, this system is massive in size, over 1,700 kilometers across, as one of the previous chat members have mentioned. Yeah, like Opong, but Mindoro, but I feel strong winds there, yeah, okay. Can Benguet be upgraded to extreme impacts and a signal 4 being raised there? Let me look again at Benguet's. Benguet's is already in the possibility of catastrophic impacts, I believe. Yeah, portions of northern Benguet's there, and that's potentially catastrophic impacts. So it could be upgraded. We need to see higher confidence on those rainfall totals going over like 400 millimeters or so. We need to see more confidence in that. Or over 300 millimeters, I think. Yeah, over 300 millimeters of rain. Or not just over 300, it needs to be like over 500 millimeters of rain or so. Just need more confidence in that. But yeah, Signal 4 warning looking pretty likely there. Rizal, in terms of impacts for you there, you are expected to see around slight to moderate impacts. You're right on the border. If you're in the northern half of Rizal, you're going to be seeing moderate impacts. The southern half, slight impacts. This could be upgraded or downgraded depending on how north or south the system goes. Oh, wow, okay. Fung-wong somehow failed rapidly intensifying because it's so large. Yes, it's nearly rapidly intensifying right now. Oh man, death toll from Typhoon Kalmaegi rises to 241. That is large. Is there a possibility that the diameter of the storm will converge? It should begin shrinking in size, not by a whole lot, but it should consolidate more. Right now, there's so much outflow; it's allowing it to be massive. Yeah, possibility of Category 2 or 3 impacts in portions of Manila due to its size. How much rainfall in Baguio City? See, I believe, is this where you mean, or this region? This region, okay. In terms of impacts for you there in southern Benguets and Baguio, you are expected to see impacts beginning on Sunday around the afternoon hours, with it peaking out on Sunday night into Monday morning, with potentially wind gusts of over 160 kilometers an hour being forecasted from the European run. Curious if I can pull up some of these other model runs and what they're showing. A German run is showing also up to 140 kilometer an hour winds. Oh, well, what are these? I haven't seen this before. Okay. Now, this is pretty interesting. The Axis model, what's that showing? Okay, not a great model. Um, Mateo Blue. Huh. I'm curious what's the best model run here. Probably going to be using the German run on this just because it has the strongest impacts. And I mean, it looks closest to the forecast from Pagasa. So yeah, in terms of impacts you could be getting, really bad on Monday. So get your preparations completed before Sunday night, before the sun sets on Sunday. In terms of rainfall totals, the German run is forecasting up to 250 millimeters of rain, the American showing up to 400 millimeters of rain, and the European is showing up to 400. Whew, that's not great. 300 to 400 millimeters of rain are going to be possible for you in Baguio in Benguets. How strong will the winds be in Metro Manila? Let's discuss impacts in Metro Manila. In terms of impacts, I'm expecting slight to moderate impacts on the, let's see here, the German run's showing around 90 kilometer an hour wind gust. Mateo Blue up to, okay, I don't trust that. And the European run's up to 90 as well. In terms of impact timing here, okay, this is going to be a tough forecast. On the European run, impacts could be beginning as early as Sunday in the afternoon hours. So get your preparations completed before Sunday afternoon. Because by then, impacts are going to be deteriorating and getting a little bit too dangerous. It does continue throughout Monday, and then some impacts, some lingering outer bands could be impacting you on Tuesday and Wednesday. Alright, in Bicol region, let's discuss the Bicol region in terms of impacts you're going to be seeing there. If you're in the southern portions of the Bicol region, you could only be seeing marginal impacts like Masbate. If you're in Camarines Sur, Camarines Norte, Quezon, or not Quezon, sorry, Albay, you are expected to see slight impacts to potentially moderate impacts there in the northern portions of Camarines Norte and Camarines Sur. The Catanduanes are expected to see moderate impacts throughout the entirety of the island. So yes, the Bicol region is still expected to see moderate impacts. "14th storm in the West Sea, interesting. How much rainfall in Ilocos Norte? Let's discuss the impacts in Ilocos Norte. So I'm currently expecting anywhere from moderate to potentially catastrophic impacts in portions of the Ilocos Norte province of the Philippines there. So let's discuss the impacts that they could be getting from the system in terms of rainfall totals. Let's discuss that across the province. Let me zoom out a little bit so it's easier to see. Okay, so low-end scenario from the European runs. It's a range from 60 to 140 millimeters of rain. Looking at the American run, it's showing anywhere as a minimum of around 110 to 160 millimeters rain. So now 60 to 160. And the German run, though, the highest end, low end on this one is around 400 millimeters of rain, and the maximum is going to be up to around 800 millimeters of rain. So anywhere from 60 to 800 millimeters of rain will be possible for the Ilocos Norte province in the Ilocos region. So I mean that's quite high. The amount of rainfall that you could be getting. That's why you are highlighted in the possibility of catastrophic impacts. Okay. How about Pangasinan? Let's discuss the impacts in Pangasinan. So on here, I am expecting moderate to major impacts depending on where you are in the province. If you're in the northeastern portions, expect major impacts. If you're in the western portions, expect moderate impacts. Again, this could up or get upgraded or downgraded depending on how north or south the system trends. If it stays on this current trajectory, though, I'd be expecting moderate impacts throughout the province. In terms of rainfall totals, let's discuss the low end and high end. The German run, 30 to up to around, let's see, is that also Pangasinan? Yes, 30 to 100 millimeters of rain being forecasted. American run, low end is going to be 250, high end is going to be up to 400 millimeters of rain. So we're at now 20 to 400 millimeters of rain, and then the European runs up to around 400 millimeters of rain as well. So 20 to 400 millimeters of rain will be possible for you in Pangasinan. The more northeast you are, the more likely you're going to be seeing those very bad rainfall totals. See, is it possible Manila gets typhoon force winds? I would be expecting that right now. Let's see if we can pull up the latest Joint Typhoon Warning Center forecast as to how large do they have the system becoming. Okay, it doesn't have the typhoon force winds that large, but it's over land at that time. I would say typhoon force winds are at least damaging winds here. Damaging winds are being forecasted. Storm force winds is what I mean. In portions of Metro Manila just outside of that there. So things like trees down, power outages, all that stuff is going to be likely in Metro Manila from the system. If it trends more to the south, those impacts will be even worse. Thanks again, Chase, for covering this typhoon. Of course. And then you're the best weather analysis so far. So impressive. That's why I love your videos and streams. Thank you so much, Zenith. Again, if you guys haven't already, please consider subscribing. That helps keep you up to date. We are now 5 away from 4.86 thousand subscribers. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and liking the stream, so that way we can help reach more people and inform them of what's happening. And not a whole lot of people are gonna know that this. You're not gonna really feel the effects until it's mainly too late. If we look at a zoomed out look at the system, and you might notice, like, oh, it's an amazing day today. Nothing's happening at all right now. So why do we need to be worrying about the system? Oh, whoops, okay. Well, dry air is currently being pulled down from China there and from parts of Taiwan, the Ryukyu Islands there. It's going to be engulfing the entirety of the Philippines. There are a lot of dry air. That's what you see in this brown coloring. Very dry air. So not really any rain or anything going to be impacting you all. And this would be around. It isn't until around Saturday night that maybe some areas of eastern Visayas and the Bicol region could be seeing some of these impacts from those outer rain bands. So really not seeing a whole lot happening for you all. It isn't until it's too late, though, that all the rain starts rushing in all at once. And then the system's core finally punches through your area around the Philippines, northern Luzon. So really, you may get caught off guard by the system. So again, thank you for all those who are tuning into the stream. Again, please consider subscribing. Oh, we're now down to 2 away from 4.86 thousand subscribers. Thank you all so much for the support. So could Fung-wong beat Pepito or Manyi? Yes, I'd say it's more likely to beat Pepito in terms of intensity than it is with Opong. So more likely to beat Pepito. Landfall intensity is a little bit hard to forecast because Ensemble members don't do a great job of showing that. You can't really go through every single individual model or Ensemble run and trying to pinpoint an average of landfall intensity. But again, though, the system Pepito only made landfall as a category 4 on my analysis, so this could do worse. Again, here the latest half-say model run does have it slamming into portions of Isabella there as a super typhoon. So this is on the higher end there compared to storms like Pepito. So, Jose mentions thousands of Filipino people may perish if they don't evacuate in the eastern coast and flood-prone areas. Yes, so a lot of things can happen. A lot of landslides, a lot of trees will fall, all that kind of stuff. So there could be many fatalities, unfortunately. But if you're preparing, you can prevent this. Okay, all these fatalities can be preventable. Okay, I'm not gonna say, oh, you're gonna die from the system. You can prepare for this. Okay, you're currently in this category now in the Philippines. Now let's go through them. Okay, let's go through this yellow category right over here. This first section, the 5 days away. What you should already be doing: checking forecast daily. If you're subscribed to the channel, or here, first off, what I want to say is you can take a screenshot of this if it helps you. Just so that way you can have it, you can print it out, do whatever you want with it, just so that way you can know what have you done so far. So if you are subscribed to the channel, you can check off that first box there. You're checking forecast daily. Restocking essentials, things like food, water, paper towels, batteries, and medications, things like that. Get like a 5-day supply or so of that. You want to review evacuation zones, figure out where you're going to go, because again, this system could become a super typhoon and pretty much the strongest typhoon to strike the region potentially since Opong in 2018. So again, you want to know where you're going to go, who has the sturdiest structure if you're in a flood-prone area, who is not in a flood-prone area, who has a sturdy structure and is not in a flood-prone area, and discuss this with family and friends. If you know friends in the region of Luzon, mainly the Cagayan Valley and central Luzon, talk to them about where they are planning to go. Do they have a sturdy structure? Is it concrete? Where are you going to go? Are you going to go to a shelter? Just figure all that out and be prepared to leave over the next day or so. Get ready to get into your place there. And remove loose debris from your yard. You should have already done that. In the 3 days away category, we've already passed this, but what you should be doing is washing clothes and dishes. Get that all freshened up. Back up important documents and clean gutters and storm drains. Again, you guys are going to have a break here. Not a whole lot of rain at all. A lot of dry air, as I mentioned earlier. So you're going to have a break. Use that wisely to clean gutters and storm drains so you have a head start when the rain starts. Now, 48 hours away, what you should be doing now in this red category, you should be charging all your devices, things like laptops, phones, things like, of course, power banks, portable chargers, all that stuff, charging all your devices. If you're in a flood-prone area, and if you're in this area in red or so, really in that orange category or higher, what you should be doing is you should be moving your valuables to higher ground, especially if you're in a flood-prone area. You don't want to lose those valuables. Now, what you're also going to want to do, if you are in your shelter, if you have figured out where you're going to be going, if you're evacuating, you know which family member to move in with there, or temporarily stay at, or friends. Or if your house is the most sturdy structure you know, and you're planning to ride out the storm there, you're going to want to begin securing outdoor items, of course, but you're going to be wanting to prepare a safe room with supplies and bedding. That's where you're going to be sleeping throughout the storm. Again, this could be a super typhoon rolling through overnight in between a Sunday and Monday, so this will potentially be a nocturnal storm. So you're going to be wanting to prepare. Where are you going to be sleeping through the storm? So again, you want to have your supplies and bedding all in that room there. You want to be in the interior room of your structure, away from windows. All right, and then you're going to be wanting to eventually, probably by tomorrow, if you haven't already, bringing in all loose outdoor objects and then boarding up and reinforcing windows and doors. And then at 12 hours before the system starts impacting you, you'll want to be staying home and sheltered at your shelter location. Keep food, water, and first aid close by. Okay, now let's answer some more questions here. How much rainfall in Carino? Let's discuss that. Impacts in Carino, looks like they are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts. The closer you are to the coast, the more likely that you'll have that possibility of catastrophic impacts. In terms of rainfall totals in Carino, let's see, I believe, is this Carino? Yes, it is. So The European runs showing a minimum of 130 millimeters rain and a maximum of up to 400 millimeters rain. So 130 to 400. American run is going to be showing up to 400 millimeters rain, and the German run shows a minimum of 30 millimeters rain and a maximum of around 160. So 30 to 300 or 30 to 400 millimeters rain will be possible for Carino. And again, possibility of catastrophic impacts as this could be rolling through as a Category 5 super typhoon. Yes, Fung-wong is finally starting to rapidly intensify. We just saw it. Yep. Looks like it's beginning its rapid intensification phase. It's just below that right now, according to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. Let's see if their latest forecast cone is out just yet. Yes, it is. Okay, it hasn't. Okay, never mind. It's not just rapidly intensified just yet, okay? They have it increasing now 25 miles an hour, so it hasn't rapidly intensified just yet. They are predicting it will be rapidly intensifying over the next 24 hours, though. Looks like it slams in the Philippines as a Category 4 being forecasted there and starts nearing Taiwan by the 5-day range, similar to this forecast, the forecast that I made. Let's see, can Fung-wong make landfall in the Kulao area? Where is that? Sorry, I don't know where that is, but I'm going to search it up. Aurora. Okay, Aurora. Thank you so much for mentioning the province there, Aurora. In terms of you getting impacts, let's see, this should be the region. Yes, looks like it could be making landfall there, unfortunately. And then if we pull that up on here, we look at the Google AI members, and we look at that region. Where is it? Right over here. Some of these members are showing a landfall. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them around, so an 8% chance that it makes landfall in your specific location. That's pretty high. Again, it's around a 70% chance it makes landfall in Aurora. And again, we're not going to know exactly where, so an 8% chance for a specific town is quite high. So again, yeah, landfall could be happening in your region or your town. So again, yeah, it's totally possible. It's looking more likely than not it's going to be making landfall in Aurora, but it can certainly make landfall in the Daipa Kulao area or Aurora. How much rainfall in Santa Ana? And yeah, guys, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel a lot and helps me get this word out to more people. Thank you all so much for 4.86 thousand subscribers. It really means a lot. Let's try it. We're trying to go for 4.87 thousand subscribers. We are now 8 away, and we're now down to 140 away from 5,000 subscribers. Let's try to hit it before the storm is over. Let's see, how much rainfall in Santa Ana and Cagayan? See, Santa Ana, in terms of the impacts there, you are expected to see moderate impacts. In terms of when they will begin, potentially beginning, let's see, probably by Saturday night into Sunday morning, looks like, at least on the European run, with them peaking out on Sunday night into Monday morning. So again, that's why you're going to want to have that safe spot there, let's see, what did I call it again? Yeah, the safe room for this system, as you could be, you're most likely going to be having to sleep through the system. Yeah, then it finally calms down by around Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Now let's talk rainfall for Santa Ana. European runs around 130 millimeters, American runs around 80, and the Germans up to 400. So 80 to 400 millimeters of rain are going to be possible for Santa Ana with the system. Is it possible Fung-wong moves more to the south? Let's see, how has the Joint Typhoon Warning Center forecast shifted? Looks like it's staying pretty consistent on where it's going. It's going to be curving more to the west over the next 12 to 24 hours before then beginning to move more west-northwestwards. Again, it could move more to the south. Some areas in the Bicol region are in that cone of uncertainty, meaning it could be making landfall there. New subscriber here, very informative. Yeah, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Yeah, just I'm glad that I can help answer your questions, trying to get the word out to as many people as possible. Let's see, could Fung-wong be stronger than Melissa? Oh, definitely it could be. The maximum winds there on the Google AI Ensemble members here, the maximum intensity is 215 miles an hour. That is stronger than Melissa is officially. Melissa was officially at 185 miles an hour. The strongest member of the Google AI is showing 215 miles an hour, and the average is around 180 miles an hour on the Google AI members. So again, very close to Melissa's intensity there, and it could, yeah, it's looking like it could be peaking at an intensity near Melissa. I am forecasting not that, though. I am forecasting it to be a minimal Category 5 just due to uncertainty. Is it going to be rapidly intensifying over the next 24 hours? If it takes advantage of the low shear and tries to develop a core and rapidly intensify, then yes, this could be a Category 5 by then, and more than just the bare minimum. Is it possible the Typhoon could move more upwards or downwards? Both of them are equally as likely. Could it trend more to the north and slam into Cagayan? Yes. Could it stay in Isabella or Aurora there? Yes. Could it be moving more to the south and slamming into Quezon, Camarines, or the Bicol region? Yes. All those are going to be possible. 2/3 of the time, it is going to stay inside of this cone, okay, on average. There's a 1/3 chance it exits it. Does it slam into northern Cagayan? Does it go more to the south towards Metro Manila? There's a possibility of that happening. But again, it could shift more to the north and more to the south. So that's all going to be things we're going to be needing to watch over the next few days, next day or so. Again, though, the confidence is increasing as to where it's going to hit, looking more likely than not now that it's going to be impacting slamming in the Philippines regardless. Now, if it goes more to the north end of the cone, that's still going to be slamming into Cagayan. And then, of course, southern region going to be slamming into the Bicol region. Now the cone no longer includes an area that curves out to sea. Let's see, how much rainfall in Olongapo? Let's figure that out. Olongapo, is this it? Yeah, okay, looks like it's this region. Okay, so in terms of impacts for you there, Olongapo, looks like the impact peak will be happening on around Sunday night into Monday morning. That's why you're going to want to have that safe room where you can sleep throughout the storm. Get your preparations completed by Sunday morning is what I would recommend. And then conditions finally improve eventually on Tuesday morning. So, again, this is going to be a multi-day threat for you there. In terms of rainfall totals for Olongapo, 180 millimeters of rain from the European, 100 from the American, and around 30 from the German. So 30 to 180 millimeters of rain is going to be forecasted for you there. Looks like slight to moderate impacts. The last super typhoon, Manny and Pepito. Yes. Lipa City and the Batangas. I'll pull that up. Whoops, let me pull up Philippines. Lipa City, is this it? Yes, okay, Lipa City, in terms of impacts for you there, looks like slight impacts are being forecasted in your region. Impacts will be the worst on Sunday nights into Monday morning, mainly Sunday night though, and it starts picking up on Sunday morning. Get your preparations completed before Sunday morning if you're there. Conditions then finally improve on Monday nights. How is Cebu going to be affected from this? Cebu is not really expected to see a whole lot. Only marginal impacts. Nothing really bad at all for you all there. Impacts will be peaking on Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening, and then continues throughout Monday. It finally calms down on Monday night. Get your preparations, if any, done before Sunday morning is what I'd recommend. Not a whole lot for you there. In terms of rainfall totals, looking at the various model runs, Europeans showing around 25, American is showing up to 25, and the German showing only 3 to 4. So anywhere from 4 to 25 millimeters of rain are being forecasted for you. Nothing bad at all. May get some gusty winds though. Hi Yvonne, how are you doing? Yes, well, thank you all so much for all the support recently. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We are now 6 or 7 away from 4.87 thousand subscribers. So please consider subscribing if you haven't already. It really helps keep you up to date on this storm and other storms that could be threatening you. Yeah, Fung-wong is not Uwan in the Philippines just yet. What time will Fung-wong make landfall? Let's see. So the date looks like it's going to be around for you all in the Philippines. Let's see. The general oh no, did this crash? Okay, let me refresh the website. Ooh, here's a look at the latest Google AI Ensemble members here. What they are showing the system's going to be doing. This has just come out, I believe. Yep. So landfall timing looks like it's going to be. Oh yeah, some of these members do go right through Metro Manila. There is a possible major typhoon, category 2 or so. But the general consensus of a landfall time looks to be around Sunday night for you all in the Philippines. Sunday night into Monday morning. It all depends, though. Where does it make that landfall? If it makes landfall down over here in the Catawandas, that would be making a landfall potentially around Sunday morning. If it makes landfall all the way in around Cagayan region, that could be making landfall as late as Monday morning. So again, anywhere from Sunday morning to Monday morning is looking at the landfall timing, with the most likely time being overnight Sunday into Monday morning, around midnight or 1 a.m.-ish. How much rainfall in Dagupan and Pangasinan? Let's look at that. Alright, so where is that? I'll search it up. There it is. Okay. In terms of impacts for Dagupan, looks like the peak of impacts will be happening overnight Sunday into Monday morning, with them beginning to increase on Sunday morning. So get your preparations completed before Sunday morning. You are expected to see moderate impacts, maybe major impacts from the system. Impacts don't really begin to subside until throughout the day on Monday, and then finally calms down on Tuesday morning. In terms of rainfall totals, a European showing 300 millimeters of rain, American showing accumulations up to 400, and the Germans around 60 to 70 millimeters. So anywhere from 70 to 400 millimeters of rain could fall for you there in Dagupan. Fung-wong is one of the most likely, in fact, in the Philippines during Tino, and Uwan during Philippines. Okay, yes. Alright. How strong winds in the Cagayan Valley? Let's look at the wind accumulations that are being forecasted from the various model runs. Is there anything that really stands out? The American, not really. German does, and the European does as well. Wind gust in the Cagayan Valley, at least on the German run, up to around maximum gust of over 200. 240 kilometer an hour winds are going to be possible, at least on the German run, showing areas along the coast. There, the closer you are to the coast, the stronger the winds. See, how strong will the winds be in around Metro Manila? Not too bad. The winds aren't going to be the real, like, the big concern for you all there. It's mainly going to be the rain, it seems like. You could still get some gusty winds, though. I will say that. I'll look at Quezon City, around those regions. Could see wind gusts of up to 90 to 100 kilometer an hour winds. Get your preparations completed by Sunday morning is what I would recommend. Even if you can do it on Saturday nights, get it done before tomorrow nights. That'd be great. See, what if 4 and 5 signal warnings are likely in lost to Uwan land? Okay. Is it bad, Metro Manila and all the streets? Yes, the flooding potential does exist for portions of Metro Manila, I will say that. Model runs aren't showing let's pull up rainfall accumulations. European showing 120, American showing 80, and the Germans only around 20. So 20 to 120 millimeters of rain. But that has gone up since the last forecast. So again, this could, if this continues shifting more to the south, then they could be seeing even higher rainfall rates. Can you please stream after the new tropical cyclone advisory? Pagasa releases it at 11 a.m. I'm probably going to be streaming for the next 30 minutes or so, and then I will end the stream. Thank you. That's a little relief. We're still reeling from Tino. Yes. Yes. I'm hoping you were watching the live streams I did discussing that system and how it would be a major threat to portions of the central Philippines. I mean, it's unfortunate there. I really wish that I It could have sounded the alarms more. Not a whole lot of people thought it was going to be as bad. How about Bakur in Kavitz? Okay, so Kavitz is expected to see slight impacts. Nothing too bad there, but in terms of impacts there, looks like, again, same things as Quezon City, around 90 kilometer an hour wind gusts being forecasted on Sunday night into Monday morning. I'd get your preparations completed before Sunday morning. That's when conditions begin to deteriorate for you there. Impacts finally begin subsiding on Monday night. Rainfall totals for you there up to around 100 millimeters of rain from the European, Americans 80, and the Germans 20. So 20 to 100 millimeters of rain is going to be possible for you there. Kabite? Is it not a V? Is it... Huh? Is it not... Kavitz, right? Kavitz? Kabite? Kabite? I'm confused. How do you pronounce it? Kavitz? Kavitz? Here, I'll pull it through the Google Translate.
Cavite.
Cavite. Cavite. Alright, yeah. Cavite. That's alright. Let's see. How much rainfall in Diets in Camarines Norte? Let's discuss those impacts. Camarines Norte, depending on if you're in the northern portions, you could be seeing moderate impacts from the system, but let's plug it in here. Oh, dang, I don't think that. The JT. Is this the region? Yes, so rainfall or impacts will be beginning as early as tomorrow morning, so get those preparations completed earlier, I'd say. As early as before tomorrow night, though, is what I would recommend. Sunday is when it really picks up, peaks out on Sunday afternoon, or Sunday morning into the afternoon hours. Wind gusts of up to 110 kilometers an hour are being forecasted for you. Now let's talk rainfall totals for dates. 170 millimeters from the European, Americans only 90, and the Germans only 20. So 20 to 170 millimeters of rain is going to be possible for you. How about Caloocan City near Signal? Okay, let me pull up that region. Don't know which region you're talking about. Sorry, I'm trying to look up on here. Caloocan. I'm not sure where. Cavite, thank you. How about in northern eastern Luzon province in Nueva Vizcaya? In terms of impacts that you could be seeing in Nueva Vizcaya, looks to be... Okay, major impacts are expected throughout the entirety of the province. If you're in the northwestern portions, you could be potentially seeing catastrophic impacts, mainly for the rainfall. Major impacts are expected for both wind and rain for you there, potentially catastrophic impacts in the form of rain. And maybe the possibility of catastrophic impacts in portions of southeastern Nueva Vizcaya in the form of, I don't know if I already said that, in the form of wind. As this could be rolling through that area as a super typhoon. What is the possible impacts are being experienced if a location is getting a direct hit of a Category 5 super typhoon? So in terms of impacts, all trees are going to be knocked down. Like, majority of those trees are going to be knocked down. High-risk structures completely destroyed. Roofs are ripped off of homes. Potential building failures are going to, infrastructural failures could be happening. Even medium-risk structures could be sustaining serious damage, and even low-risk structures as well. Going to really need to be a concrete structure that could withstand a super typhoon, a direct hit from a super typhoon. So again, on the plan sheet here, if you haven't already, be sure to, if you'd like, take a screenshot of this to know what you should be doing. Again, if you're already subscribed to the channel, you can check off this one. You're checking forecast daily. In terms of impacts there from a super typhoon, and what you should be doing, again, reviewing evacuation zones and routes. Figure out where you're going to be going, though. If you're not in a concrete structure and it's looking like it could be striking you as a super typhoon, figure out what shelter is concrete. Well, who has a home that's concrete? Who has the sturdiest structure that you could go to? Um, see, is there a chance this changes? It changes course and it hits Metro Manila. Well, in terms of impacts in Metro Manila, they're only already expected to see slight to moderate impacts, and the forecast cone does include parts of far northern NCR there. So if it goes on the southern end of the forecast, yeah, they could be getting a direct hit from this. Currently, though, I'm forecasting only slight to moderate impacts. That's still significant. Are there any other low pressure systems currently forming in the Pacific? There is the possibility that one of these tries to form over the next week or so. This one right here. It's mainly going to be the tropical wave just after that. It's going to be this guy by Micronesia. That one that might try to develop. I haven't marked it as an area of interest just yet. We're mainly going to be trying to focus out on it one at a time. How much storm surge could the system bring? We're not quite sure just yet. It's far out. No storm surge warnings have been issued just yet, but that should change over the next day or so. Tarlac City, please. Thank you. Of course. I'm sorry, hold on, wait. Whoops, I skipped over a question. I'll get to it in a moment. Let's see. Do you think Fung-wong, with the radius that will experience tropical storm winds, same as Christine last year? I mean, this storm is going to be large, so yeah, tropical storm force winds happening well outside of the center. Let's see, so how much rainfall in the Catawandas? Rainfall there, they are expected to see moderate impacts. In terms of range of rainfall totals, 130 to 250, 130 to 250 on the European, 130 to 250 on the American run, and around 60 to 100 on the German run. So 60 to 100 or 20 or wait, was it 60? Yeah, or sorry, let me get this right. Yeah, 60 to 120 millimeters, or sorry, 60 to 250 millimeters are going to be possible for the Catawandas. Tarlac City, let's discuss those impacts. Oh wait, is that it right there? Yes. Okay, Tarlac City, that is going to be in Tarlac there. Impacts will be beginning as early as Sunday morning into the Sunday afternoon hours, peaking out at around Sunday night into Monday morning. That's why you're going to want to have that, what was I going to say? Safe room where you put your bedding and supplies, as you're going to be having to ride throughout the storm in the night, as this could be a nocturnal threat. We'll be continuing throughout the day on Monday, though, and finally calms down on Tuesday. In terms of rainfall totals for Tarlac City, Europeans around 120, Americans up to 160, and the Germans only 20. 20 to 160 millimeters of rain. Hopefully, for you, it'd be a best case scenario if the German run verifies. Only 20 millimeters of rain, that's nothing. How strong is the wind going to be in Dagupan City and Pangasinan? Oh, Richie, you asked that question earlier. Let's see. Dagupan there, in terms of impacts there, gust of up to 160 to 170 kilometer an hour winds could be possible there. At least according to the, this would be the European run, I believe. Yeah, and if we pull up the wind accumulations there, it's weird how they show different things. I'm not quite sure how this works exactly. Why this shows something different than the other one. Not quite sure. Fung-wong is now 100 kilometer an hour winds by Pagasa. Wow. Let's see. Wait, 215 kilometer an hour being forecasted in the Zoom Earth app before landfall. That surpasses Opong. This is 1 minute sustained winds, not 3 minute sustained winds that the Pagasa uses. So it's a different thing there. Yeah, it could be starting to rapidly intensify right now. It is forecasted to be rapidly intensifying over the next 24 hours. So yeah, of course, it can be rapidly intensifying right now. So we'll know more in 24 hours if it was in fact rapidly intensifying. Uwon is comparable to Super Typhoon Pepito last year. Super Typhoon Yoyong in 2004 had a traumatic experience on both Super Typhoons. Was that Cimarron? Or I believe, or one of those storms in 2004. Not quite sure which one that is, but yes. So yeah, it is pretty comparable to those storms. This could be stronger than Pepito from last year. Pepito, I think that's how you pronounce it. Um, it's currently forecast to be making a landfall at around the same category, Category 4. Could be making landfall as a super typhoon, though. Already in central and southern Luzon and Taiwan, all my friends here. Yep, looks like it's going to be a super typhoon, yeah. Be prepared, okay? You guys can make it through, just be prepared through the system. Know that there's going to be damage no matter where it goes, okay? If it goes on the northern end of the forecast, there's going to be major damage there. If it goes on the southern end, major damage there. Even portions of Taiwan is going to be seeing damage in terms of flooding. Portions of the coast of China and Hong Kong could be seeing impacts from the system. This is going to be a very large area of potential impacts. Yeah, speaking of Taiwan, how much rainfall in Taiwan? Let's discuss that here. In terms of the various model runs, let's look at this. Let's go beyond just the 7-day range. Let's do a 10-day look here. European run is showing up to 400 millimeters of rain in portions of Taiwan. American runs up to around 200 millimeters of rain. And the German run is up to 6 to 700 millimeters of rain falling in portions of Taiwan. So yes, that'd be catastrophic impacts in the form of rainfall, I believe. Let me just double check that. Yeah, catastrophic impacts possible, yeah, with that. Those rainfall totals. Those landslides that could be happening from the system. Ooh. Let's see. We are well prepared here in Desma Cavite. That's good, okay? You're being prepared, you're subscribed to the channel, you're continuing to stay up to date, so you are prepared more than most are. No need to worry, okay? Just be prepared, like you're doing now. We are now 1 subscriber away from 4.87 thousand subscribers. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to like the stream as well. Helps get this out to more people. Well, 2.5 thousand views so far. That's pretty impressive. Again, if you have any questions about your local area, you can always ask that in the chat, and I will gladly answer. What else? How much rainfall in Quezon Province? Let's see, Quezon Province, that is going to be expected to see anywhere from, I'd say, moderate to major impacts for Quezon. Rainfall totals on the German run is like nothing. It's as if there's even not even a storm, only up to 20 to 30 millimeters of rain. American run is up to 90 millimeters of rain, and the European run is up to 200 millimeters of rain. So anywhere from 30 to 200 millimeters of rain could be falling for Quezon Province in the Philippines there and around Calabarzon. Will Fung-wong move over China? Now that is increasing in likelihood if it's going to be moving over China. The forecast cone does include portions of eastern Guangdong province of China and southern Fujian province of China. This may start shifting more and more to the west. We've seen the latest half-day model run take the system pretty close to Hong Kong there, at least on this model run. So again, it could be nearing there. Now, I am curious here. Is that a front being for? It's weird. I noticed that there's like this gradient here of winds right on here, this line. So I was curious if that's just a front or what's happening there. But yes, it could be moving over China. Again, we'll have more updates over the coming days on that. So again, if you are in China, the impacts that or the things you'd like to be doing right now, checking forecast daily. If you're subscribed to the channel, you've already done that. And we have reached 4.87 thousand subscribers. Thank you all so much. We are now down to 130 away from 5,000. Let's see if we can hit it before the storm is done. Let's see. How much rainfall in Rizal? Let's discuss Rizal's rainfall totals. Rizal there is expected to see around up to 200 millimeters of rain on the European run, 70 to 80 millimeters of rain on the American, and only 25 millimeters of rain on the German. So 25 to 200 millimeters of rain could be falling for Rizal. How about Santiago? Hi, Mimmerds. Problem for Santiago now, they are being expected to see potentially a direct pass for the system. If we look at the latest Google AI Ensemble members, City of Santiago, a little bit on the, okay, is this gonna, this should work. I'll refresh the page. The internet should be working. You all should be hearing me, okay? Curious why this isn't working or it's not cooperating. Maybe there's too many people using the website. I'm not sure. Man, okay, that's interesting. That went down. Sorry about that. Anyways, Santiago, though, they are expected to see major impacts from this system. I don't think they're in the possibility of catastrophic impacts just yet. I think they're outside of that. They're not near the coast, so I'm not really expecting that. But major impacts are being expected for you there. Moderate to major impacts for Santiago. In terms of timing of impacts, let's look at that. Timing of impacts will be picking up on Saturday night into Sunday morning, with it peaking out on Sunday night into Monday morning. So what you're going to be wanting to do now is being prepared to know where you're going to be going as your safest structure, most sturdy structure that you're going to be riding out the storm. Where's your safe room going to be? Where you're going to be sleeping throughout the storm? You want to be away from doors and windows, or exterior doors and windows. And then in terms of rainfall totals, let's discuss rainfall totals in Santiago. Around 120 millimeters of rain from the European. Americans showing up to 250, and the Germans are only around 60. So 60 to 250 millimeters of rain is going to be possible for you in Santiago. Major impacts. After the storm dissipates, will you be animating Fung-wong? Fung-wong, yes, I will. Now let's see, something that I did want to be mentioning though is the animation on Hurricane Melissa is going to be releasing on Sunday, I believe, for y'all in the Philippines. Sunday night for y'all in the Philippines. So, those who remember Melissa, that animation is going to be releasing soon. So you can already see the premiere page on that. And it's interesting, the analysis on it. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, as I will also be animating Fung-wong after it dissipates. Gotta animate Kalmaegi first, though. Laguna. Let's discuss those impacts. Would it be safe to travel from Manila to Laguna? Where is that? Not quite sure which one you mean. If it's this area, I'm not quite sure what you mean by Laguna, which province that's in. Oh, sorry, wait, never mind, I see it, I see it, my bad. I see it on my map. Okay. Up to around 80 millimeters of rain. You are expected to see slight impacts from the system, I believe. Some of these models aren't showing really anything happening for you, but some of them are showing higher totals, up to 100 millimeters of rain on this one, the European run. So would it be safe to travel outside of Manila to Laguna? Yes, it would be safer there in that region. If you're in a sturdier structure as well and out of a flood-prone area there, I'd recommend that. How large is Fung-wong? Yeah, it's around 1,700 kilometers large. This storm is massive. You all may have seen my hit tweets on Twitter discussing its size. I can probably make another one about that. 1,700 kilometers wide. This thing is massive. From outflow to outflow, it's up to 2,000 kilometers wide. So this thing is huge. Rain's forecast from Pagasa is not that accurate. See what happened in Cebu. What can you say on that? Well, their forecasts, they discuss the entire province, really. So it's not It's not as great as just doing like a drawing forecast there of rainfall totals. Model runs were forecasting up to a foot of rain, so up to around 400 millimeters, up to 300 millimeters of rain or so. I only highlighted the areas of the possibility of major impacts. It had what we call a death band in front of it. That's most likely why it was so bad. You see this death band right here? It's the storm itself right over here, the actual storm right over here, and then you have the actual band right here, this huge band, and then that was just whipping across the Philippines. If we take this again, just whipping across there, because what this does is it saturates the ground heavily before then the core moves over. So something like Cebu City, they're getting hit by the death band before then getting hit by the core of the storm. We've seen storms like Noru do that before, and Haiyan. Is it going to be a super typhoon? Pegasa thinks so. I think so. Google AI thinks so. Joint Typhoon Warning Center doesn't think so. So really, it's just who do you trust the most there on if it's going to be a super typhoon or not? I'd say it's more likely than not. Google AI Ensemble members giving it a 98% chance of it becoming a super typhoon. See, how about in the Catawandas Islands? Let's discuss those impacts. Let's see, they are expected to see moderate impacts on this graphic here. Moderate impacts, potentially major impacts to catastrophic if it moves more to the south. But rainfall totals up to 250 millimeters of rain is what I'd be expecting there. Lowest is going to be around 60. 50 to 250 millimeters of rain will be possible there. Is Sorsogon going to be affected? Let's see, is that a province or a city? Let me look on my map here. I do not see it there in terms of province, so it's probably a city. Yes, it is. Okay. Yes, you are expected to see marginal to slight impacts from this. So yeah, you will be impacted. The worst day of conditions will be on Sunday morning. It picks up, though, on Saturday night, tomorrow night into Sunday morning. Get those preparations completed before Sunday morning, okay? Get them before the, even before the sun sets tomorrow is when I'd be completing those preparations. It doesn't really start calming down until Monday, and then it's finally much calmer on Tuesday. Still gusty, though, with some outer rain bands potentially impacting you. Is it going to continue up north? What do you mean by that? Is it going to trend more north? It could. It could just as easily trend more to the south, though. But it is going to potentially curve more to the north after it hits the Philippines. Going to be a much larger system as it nears Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Guangdong and Fujian provinces of China. I have relatives in Baguio. What would their conditions be? Thank you, sir. Of course. Let's discuss those impacts. Man, okay, wind gusts of up to 160 kilometer an hour winds are being forecasted. In terms of timing, though, the timing will be Sunday morning, then continues throughout the day on Monday and Tuesday before finally calming down on Tuesday evening. In terms of rainfall totals, they are in the major to potentially, maybe are they in the major to potentially catastrophic impacts they could be seeing. 400 millimeters rain on the European, 400 on the American, and only 300 on the German, really. So 300 to 400 millimeters of rain, that is potentially catastrophic. Of course, Pabroti. If you can, please subscribe. It really helps out the channel. We are getting closer and closer to 4.88K. We're 6 away. So please help us reach it. Please check North Caloocan City. I swear I looked at that earlier. Was I able to find it? No, I don't know where... Did I figure out where that is? I'm not quite sure where you mean. Maybe it's here. I think you're meaning around Manila. If you're talking about Manila, you are expected to see moderate impacts from the system. Impacts will be worse on Sunday night and Monday morning, with it continuing throughout the day on Monday. Get those preparations completed before Sunday morning, or before Sunday afternoon is what I'd recommend. But yes, you will be seeing impacts there. Rainfall totals: European showing 125 millimeters, American showing 100, and German showing around 20. Yes, it's almost the same size as Typhoon tip. This thing is large. And the pressure forecast for some of these models were showing things that rival tip. How about Tuga Garao? Let's discuss those impacts. I believe you're discussing this one right there. Oh man, okay. You are in the region of major impacts from the system. A rainfall or winds will be peaking out around 90 kilometers an hour, at least on the European run. Let's pull up the German run. What are they showing? That may show a lot stronger winds. Up to 220 kilometer an hour wind gusts are going to be possible for you. So yes, this could be rolling through your area as a super typhoon. Impacts really begin getting worse throughout the day on Sunday. Get those preparations completed before Sunday afternoon is what I would recommend for you. Even Sunday morning would be good, getting them done before then. Conditions will continue to be bad throughout the day on Monday and Tuesday before finally calming down on Wednesday. In terms of rainfall totals for Tuga-Garau, 90 millimeters of rain from the European, American showing 200, and the German showing 400 millimeters of rain. So anywhere from, let's see, what was I showing? Anywhere from 90 to 400 millimeters of rain is going to be possible for you there. So major to potentially catastrophic impacts. Why can't Fung-wong go upwards and recurve? Well, that's going to be due to the fact that it's under a ridge right now. If we show this here, see that it would normally go north. You see there's like a little bit of a trough here that I could try to pull it out. But then it gets covered, though, by a ridge that builds in. And that ridge is keeping it. This red coloring here keeps it moving westwards. It isn't until it finally breaks there that it finally opens it up and opens an escape route northwards. So that's why it keeps moving west there. It forces it down, and then by the time it enters the South China Sea, that ridge weakens over China, allows it to escape to the north. How large is Fung-wong's eye wall? It doesn't have an eye wall just yet. Is Makiti City being affected by it? And we're going to be ending after this. I just realized we're almost at the 2-hour range. I'm going to stop the questions there. Alright. So, Makiti City, in terms of impacts there, I don't know where that is exactly. If it's in Manila, though, still slight to moderate impacts. You are expected to see impacts if you're in the NCR. And what about Marinduque? Impacts there, is that? Okay, where's that? Impacts there around, is that marginal or slight? See, around marginal impacts are expected for you there. Yeah, it's not named yet. It's not Uwan yet. Thoughts on its structure right now? Do you think there's a chance it will just underperform and not consolidate? Yeah, there's. I'm not going to lie to you all. There's a chance it just underperforms. It does what we call a bust. Just too large for it to really consolidate. Still, though, that's going to be making the rainfall even worse. So, it could maybe not become a super typhoon, but it could have awful rainfall impacts. Would you please check on the impacts in Lavak? Sure. Let's pull that here, Lavak. Is this the area here? Okay, you are expected to see, I'd say, around moderate impacts for you there. Moderate impacts are expected, and that could get upgraded higher if it moves more to the south. Oh yes, the Melissa animation should be releasing on Sunday nights. I thought Sunday night or Monday, I'm not... Yeah, Sunday night is when it should be releasing. How will Quezon City be impacted? Again, slight to moderate impacts. When will the impacts be felt? Maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. How does it compare to previous storms that crossed Luzon in recent years? Maybe similar to Pepito. Okay, not quite sure though. All right, and then. Of course. So again, guys, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'm going to be doing another live stream tomorrow. We're at 4.88 thousand subscribers. Thank you all so much for all the support. We are down to 120 away from, let's see, from 5,000 away. Thank you all so much. I'm going to be doing a king tide chase tomorrow. So if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram. I will be posting that. I'm in Florida. I'm going to be doing a storm chase there. So if you haven't already and you want to stay up to date on the system, you can follow me on these other social media platforms. If you use X or Twitter, you can follow me at hurricane_chase. I post those cones there before you see them on YouTube. Of course, if you're on YouTube, you can subscribe to me there on at Hurricane Chaser Chase. And if you use Instagram, consider following me there at Hurricane Chaser Chase. Really helps out a lot. The more followers I get on Instagram, the better. If you prefer to use Facebook or Blue Sky, you can follow me at Cyclone Tracking. I don't ask that unless you prefer those social media platforms. And then if you have Discord, you can join the Discord server, discord.gg/chasestorm. We track tropical cyclones and tornadoes all across the globe. So yes, there will be most likely a live landfall stream on this system to cover it as it slams in the Philippines. Again, there will be another stream tomorrow morning for you all in the Philippines. There could be a Category 4, maybe only a Category 1. We'll see what it's looking like. Again, the forecast will likely shift dramatically tomorrow, okay? So how strong will the system be looking like as it's going to make its landfall? So who am I going to be seeing in tomorrow's stream? Let's see, anybody? Who am I going to be seeing then? As I'll be doing one around the same time as I did today, maybe a little bit later. Do you prefer the streams to be later than what I did today or earlier than what I did today? What do you all prefer, earlier or later? All right, Richie, I'll be seeing you. All right. I'm curious, those in the Philippines, do you all prefer me to do my live streams earlier than I did today or later than what I did today? Just curious. Later, okay. Yep. Beat, I'll be seeing you. Okay. Jorge, I'll be seeing you. Okay. Just want to make sure though that I earlier. Okay. Earlier. All right. Anybody else from the Philippines? Do you prefer earlier or later live streams? Do you prefer them to be earlier than what I did right now, or do you prefer them to be later? Tomorrow, I will either be doing an hour and 30-minute live stream or a 2.5-hour live stream, depending on how many people are watching. Alright. Well, thank you all so much for watching this live stream. Remember guys, I will be doing another one tomorrow. I will see you all in the next update. Stay safe.